Hello and welcome back to the series, guys. This is an entirely new series. This series is called Build an AI Backend from Scratch. The goal is simple. By the end, you will understand every layer of an AI backend, not just copy of a LangChain demo and hope it works. We are going to build for real. Small Python scripts, clear ideas, and each week stack on the last. If you have felt lost jumping straight into the agents, RAG, and tools, this series is the missing middle. So let's go and deep dive into it. Before that, a quick check who this series is for and what to expect. If you're a backend or a full stack folk who want AI skill that actually stick, or you should be okay with Python, loop, functions, reading errors, you do not need a machine learning background. And finally, you are curious how this works when you own the code, not just the chat box. So, here is the format so you know what you're signing up for. About 10 minutes an episode, dense, not fluffy. One concept or one file we build or run, one working demo at the end. There is a GitHub repo, each episode has a tag episode 1 and 2, so you can check out exactly what we are on. And finally, we don't skip foundation to chase hype. Agent comes after you understand the HTTP call underneath. So, here is the whole journey. 5 episodes, then a bonus if we wrap it in an API. Episode 1. Today, call the model with plain HTTP, no frameworks. Episode 2. Force reliable JSON out of the model so a frontend can actually use it. Episode 3. Semantic search with vector. We do the math ourselves so VectorDB aren't a black box. Episode 4. RAG answers questions from your documents and refuse when the answer isn't there. And episode 5. A tool calling agent. The model decides to call your function like order, lookup, or escalation email. If we keep going, in episode 6, we wrap it in a fast API so it's a real service. Let's start with episode 1. So here is the idea that unlocks everything else. ChatGPT isn't magic. Under the hood, it's an HTTP post to an API that returns JSON. Today, we call that API ourselves. No LangChain, no official SDK, just the Python application making a post call to the OpenAPI client and a response we dig into. When you can do this, every AI starts making sense. They are just helpers on top of this request. First, let's install the dependencies. So we create a virtual environment using this command. Then we activate it. So you should see .env on your prompt. We need 2 packages. First is httpx for model async HTTP client and second python.env just to load the secrets from .env. So we never hardcode the API keys. And that's it. If you look at the output briefly, there is no giant AI framework yet. It's purely the dependencies. Create a .env file and add your OpenAPI key here. I'll provide the link in the description from where you can get yours. And make sure you add .env to .ignore so you never commit that to GitHub. We'll create a new file app and this file is going to be our entire backend for this episode. Then we'll import async.io because our HTTP call will be async. We'll import the httpx for the request and we'll import the OS to read the environment variables. Then load.env runs as soon as the file imports and it pulls the OpenAPI key into the process. From this point, whenever you get an env with the API key or the environment variable name, it will work as long as .env exists. Next, we'll create one async function called LLM. Think call language model, it takes a user prompt as a string. This URL is going to be OpenAI's chat completion endpoint, same family of API ChatGPT uses. Remember that, chat completion in and message out. Then we send the JSON and we authenticate with a bearer token. That's your API key, never log this header in production. Then payload is in the body, we pick a model. Here in this case we are using GPT-4o mini. Is cheap as fast for learning. And messages is a list of role users. Content is whatever we passed in. That's the whole conversation for now in one message. In the coming episode, we get fancier with the system prompts and tool calls. Episode 1, user message, that's enough. A simple print so we can see something happens before the network round trip. Then we'll have an async HTTP client, a post request to the URL. We pass the headers as JSON body and we timeout. If the status is 200, we pass the JSON and the shape OpenAPI return is nested. The first choices, messages and the content. This string is the model's reply. That's the part you will memorize. Write down this path. If you're new to this, every chat completion response look like this. And then in case of exceptions, we return the status. Then we'll have the main, just set as a sample prompt. Flexbox versus grid in one sentence. Await our function, prints the reply, and at the end a standard async IO endpoint. That's the whole file. Under 40 lines, we now have an AI backend. So the moment of truth, virtual environment on, run it. We type Python app.py. Sending, and there it is, natural language back from the model. We didn't use a chat UI, we used our code. Whatever sentence you got it fine. So at the end, a LLM is a remote function. You send JSON in, you get JSON out. You dig out the string, everything else, agents, RAG, tools, sits on top of this. That's the episode 1 done. And now you know where the whole series is headed. In the coming episode, what if your front end can't accept free text? We'll focus on the model to return structured JSON with Pydantic. So a login form comes back as a real component, not a poem. The repo link and checkout commands are in the description. I'm Kapil. See you in the episode 2.